thankful for the service we had this far. The singing was amazing. Always lifts you up when there's good singing for a stand to do devotional, to preach, whatever it is. It's always just get your heart in the right place. At least that's how I feel. We're going to be bouncing around a little bit today. My weekly. This week I was studying in Jonah. Just had a few verses that stuck out here and just led to a few thoughts in other places. So we'll start in Jonah. We'll be in that first chapter in just for a second. Just be there in that first verse and we'll lay down a little bit. So now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish, from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and cried every man unto his God, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea to lighten it off them. But Jonah was gone down into the sea, into the side of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep. So the shipmaster came to him and said unto him, What meanest thou, O sleeper? Arise, call unto thy God, if so be that God will think upon us, and we perish not. And just thinking about this is Jonah's account of him being called by God to do something. And he runs from that. And we find ourselves in those shoes, I say in the daily. I hear something and I say, I don't want to do that. I want to go my way. And that's what Jonah's doing here. But it has the effect on not just him, but those around him. We think that our decisions just affect us oftentimes. But the people around us, even if it be in an indirect way, our sin has an account on them, or an effect on them also. And so they find themselves in this storm in the sea, not because of their sin, but because of Jonah's sin being affected around them. And we see here that he is asleep. You know, I think about us spiritually. How many times do we find ourselves spiritually asleep? We're physically awake. I'm standing here, but we're tuning out the things of the Lord. We don't. We're not sensitive to the Spirit, as I think Brother Andrew Thompson said. We dull it out. But we see here, oh sleeper. That's the thought that I want to carry out throughout the sermon today. Oh sleeper, are you asleep today? I mean, all of you seem to be awake right now, but are you asleep spiritually? Not physically, spiritually. It's just a thought to go into revival. Are you asleep or are you awake spiritually? And we'll go over to Matthew now. Matthew chapter 25. It's the parable of the 10 virgins. I've heard this preached a few times throughout the past year. A couple of different takes about it, but talking about that, O sleeper, in the virgins here, it says, Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps, and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegrooms tarried, they all slumbered and slept. There's those sleepers right there. And said, At midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. And all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. We have these, and I think the 5 that were wise are the 5 saved. And the 5 foolish were the lost. You can, and then we have in verse 5, we have they all slumbered and slept. You can be a saved Christian, born again believer, and have your ticket punched for heaven, but still be sleeping. It's if you're foolish, if you're the lost, you need to get that right first. Amen. But then it applies to the lost and the saved alike here. The bridegroom is coming. How are you going to be found in that day? Whenever I was lost, I'd think about that. If God were to come back right now, right in this second, where would I be? I think of that as the saved now also, just in a different light. Yeah. Am I going to be working for God when He comes, or am I going to be off in the world? That's how we need to think about our lives, because it says there in the verse 13, it says, "Watch therefore, you know neither the day nor the hour." It could be in the next minutes. It could be before I step down from this pulpit. Nobody knows the hour. And it goes back to those around us, of thinking our sin in our lives affect those around us. Back to Jonah. If we're sleeping, if we're off the clock for the Lord, as Christians, what's that going to make them think of us? What's the world going to think of a Christian who doesn't live as a Christian throughout their whole week? I think that oftentimes we downplay the significance of that our lives as Christians have impact on others. They don't look at you on Sunday. They don't look at your life on Sunday to see if you're a good Christian. They look at your life throughout the week. And that's something that we all could grow better at. At work, I work with a lot of people. I see a lot of people as I come through because I work in customer service. But do they see me as Levi throughout the week, or do they see me as Levi on Sunday? And those two should be the same. We'll flip over to 1 Thessalonians. In chapter 5. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, for that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." Just going back to that sleeper of thinking, implying that to our lives. You think about in the night, that's when the bad things happen. I think you don't go to that street in the night. You don't go to that part of town. But then that's how we need to. Let me get my thoughts together. We need to think about that as we go through our lives, because there's going to be a day when it's going to be night, or it could be day, but Jesus is coming back like a thief in the night, that picture of when you don't expect it. But as the saved, we need to be expecting it. It says here, we're not in the darkness. The saved can't be in the darkness anymore. And we shouldn't expect it. We should expect him to come. He's not a thief to us. He's not a trespasser, but he's a visitor to us. We're waiting to welcome him in. The lost, they can't say that. He's going to come as a thief to them. They have no preparedness for him to come. As a host of a house or something, you're going to be prepared. You're going to be ready to come. But the lost aren't prepared. They can't be prepared. And you need to be, as the saved, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared as the lost and saved to come for the coming of the Lord. And then, when you sleep, you feel comfortable. If I'm uncomfortable, I can't sleep well. I like to be comfortable when I sleep. Right, Brother Jonathan? That's a false sense of peace when you're in this world and you're sleeping as a Christian. The spiritually sleeping. You can get comfort from this world, but it's only for a season. The things of this world definitely have their pleasure for a season, but there comes a time when those pleasures are gone. They aren't for forever. And it says, "Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." You can, when you're saved, God abides in you. But as has been said throughout the past couple of weeks, it's our job to abide in Him. Your Christian walk, the factor of how close you are going to be to God is you. Not if God is close to you, because God will be close to you. God's already promised that. God's not going to leave you. Are you going to leave God? You can't be unsaved once you're saved, but you can be on a varying scale of how close you are to the will of God. And it's going to affect your life and those around you. It goes back to that same point of nothing that you do just affects you. We'll go to Matthew, back to Matthew. I'm going to be in the 13th chapter. It's a common parable here. It'll be in verse 24, the parable of the tares. It says, "Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while the man slept," there's that old sleeper again, "his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. When the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into the barn." I think about this as a field or as a church. If the church isn't active and awake and attentive to what's going on in the church, that's when the devil will try to creep in. We think we're immune because we're the church. The church has the power. But the people in the church are humans. We have faults. I have faults. You have faults. You have faults. Everybody has faults in this church, in this building. And we have to watch and trust upon the Lord and follow the Lord's will and be awake, spiritually awake, watching. Because the devil comes at you sneakily. He doesn't come to you as a devil with horns and a pitchfork. He comes as you as the wolves in sheep's clothing, as you just said. Yes. He comes to you as a sneak attack. He's not going to present himself as the wrong thing. He's going to present himself as the easy thing, the comfortable option, the inclusive option. And that's the thing. This world wants to be inclusive. The church is inclusive of people, but not the sin. We get rid of the sin. That's the most important part. And it says the harvest. The time of the harvest is now. The time of the harvest is coming up. We need to be getting ready for the time of harvest now. There's a lot of preparation. Brother Zach is not here, but he's a farmer. There's a lot of preparation that comes before you go into the harvest. There's the sowing, the watering, the feeding of the cows if he has cows, and then you get the profit. There's work now to be done in the church, in the world, all around us. And just a short little verse over here in Proverbs. I'll just read it real quick. Proverbs chapter 10 says, "The Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son in the heaviness of his mother. Treasure of wickedness profiteth nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with that can, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame." Don't be sleeping in the harvest. Be ready for the harvest. be groaning for the harvest. You know, the time of the harvest needs to be starting right now. When God, you can't wait till last minute and still expect a good profit from the harvest. You got to start right now. We'll flip over to Matthew again, Matthew chapter 26. This is Garden of Gethsemane with Jesus in the last days. And we'll start in verse 36. Chapter 26, verse 36. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thy will. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep. And he saith unto Peter, What could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. We find here these people are first-hand account with Jesus, but they're sleeping. Our spiritual side wants to be awake, but our fleshly side wants to be asleep. I'm talking about the spiritual awakeness and spiritual sleeping right here. It says, the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. You got to fight off the temptation of the flesh. You got to put the flesh behind and the spirit before. You got to be longing after the things of the Lord more than the things of the world. And I was thinking about it just randomly this morning over in Ephesians, talking about the flesh. We don't fight just against flesh and blood in this world, but against, it says, of spiritual darkness. The spiritual darkness and the flesh, it's a bad combo. That's what the lost have. They don't have any. They have a spirit in them, but it's not the spirit of the Lord. It's the spirit of the devil. And just thinking about that, going to the revival, that's all the Lord laid on my heart. If we could get a song. Just the thought that we need to be awake and attentive as the saved and lost alike. You need to be ready. You know, we've seen that song, Are You Ready? I can't remember the name of the song or how it goes completely. But just the thought of being ready for the Lord to come.